Hey everyone, welcome to another Haze Reverb update video. And this week we have a couple of new units to talk about and also a rerun for the 72-hour banner. So we'll talk about that in a second. But first off, let's talk about Nanami, who is a new limited unit, right? SSR. So if you're collecting limited units, you'll probably want to get a copy. This skin that you see here is also the free skin that you get for acquiring her, right? Which most limited units will tend to have. And this is the base skin, right? Alright, so she is an assault type unit. She's classified as a support. She has a stun when she attacks, which will hit 2 tiles, right? And she targets the second enemy in the row and then the unit below. Then she has a camouflage for infinite turns. She gains the infinite turns at rank 5. Prior to that, it's 18 turns, and then it will run out, right? So she's technically usable at lower ranks, but it's ideal to have the camouflage at full duration or lasting the whole battle, which means that you ideally want her to be rank 5. But yeah, I think she is still a rare unit that you technically could use at a lower rank if you're struggling for resources. But then the main ability that she has here is the Bestow Corrosion Field. And what it does is gives all of your units that have a taunt effect this corrosion field, and it will debuff the enemies, reducing their HP and attack before they do their basic attack. And that's pretty strong already. Now, obviously, at lower ranks, the coefficients will be a lot lower. Still, like, pretty nice to have. Still, all right. But obviously, you want her to be at the highest rank to get the most effectiveness out of it, and that will be at rank 9. So she doesn't need to be rank 10, but rank 9 is a pretty important breakpoint to get the maximum corrosion field. So that would be the ideal rank, and then the recommended minimum would be rank 5. Then she also applies dots. So the dots will apply from her basic attack, and also if the target has a shield, it will apply an additional dot, right? And that second dot will do damage, do fixed damage, which is pretty good. Both scales with attack, so I guess she'll probably be built on like 2 attack cores, 1 percentage and 1 flat, most likely. I don't think you'll really need any other stats, because if you need crit rate to like buff up the crit the dot damage, then you just bring something to buff her with, right? But I think it'll be tough to put in a crit buffer for her specifically. You'll probably just rely on leanness to buff her attack and scale the damage based off attack, right? Now that's probably my suggestion for PvP, but who knows? Like, things could change. That's just my guess at the moment. And her EX, so if 2 or more allies have died on your side, then she applies a dot to all enemies, and that does fixed damage. So I think that's decent as well, but it just depends how much damage this dot actually does. I can't really tell at this stage. Would require some testing, but on paper I think she looks very strong, mostly for the corrosion field, and then like the dots are like secondary. It might pair well with certain other units, like maybe it pairs well with swimsuit Shiranui, or mostly because she has like dot based kit as well. Maybe also T-Starry, because the dots will weaken enemies, and then that can affect the different HP levels of the enemies, and then it might cause your T-Starry to target someone else that is weaker and doesn't have max damage reduction. Stuff like that could happen. So I think she has some potential there. I guess I could see like her being used in some sort of like niche nuka build with dots. People have in the past used Nastia that way. I think you could maybe even like combine Nastia with like Nanami doing that. Could be like a fun comp to try out. Maybe in the next Cosmic, which I guess we'll probably have a new Cosmic soon. Maybe in the next couple of weeks. Just my guess. But it's been like a couple of weeks since the last one. Well, actually, maybe in the 3 weeks, or almost 4 weeks, I think. But anyway, that is Nanami, and also actually there is also another one here. So there's also a new SR unit, and if you are an enjoyer of the underboob, you might like Felon here. But unfortunately, that's probably as far as it gets with how good she is. Good profile picture units, but the abilities, nothing really special here. Like she's a heavy type unit with no instant charge, no snipe, no damage reduction, ignore, nothing, right? She's very generic DPS. Her EX is like she does have like an ability that is based on how many heavy allies are alive, but all it does is boost her own attack and crit chance. Not like nothing too crazy. I don't think anyone's really going to use her in actual combat. But if you want her for collection, then feel free to grab a copy. You'll probably pull one while trying to pull for Nanami anyway, right? Then we got the 72-hour banner. Now this is technically like the newcomer banner now. Like they've sort of revamped like the newcomer stuff, and you'll have this banner. If you start a new account, you'll have this banner for the first 72 hours, and that gives you a chance to pull like things like Angel Belina and Hlock, from day one. But obviously you only have 3 days to actually pull for it normally, right? But this banner does come back every 6 months or so, and currently it's the half-year anniversary, which is probably why they brought it back. And in here you'll have a increased chance of getting limited units from the past, but they also are the non-banner units as well. They have a lower rate, but it does share the pool. So you can see here, there's to get a specific unit that you want is very difficult, right? So if you're gonna pull on this, either you're missing a lot of limited units, which makes it a bit more worthwhile to pull, or you are you have enough resources to go for 200 like hard pity, or like the spark, right, as normally called, and then you can just pick whichever one that you're chasing, right, to pull it. So therefore, if you're looking for something very specific, like let's say you want your Angel Belina for Crusade raids, or maybe you want Hlock for PvP, then make sure that you calculate you have enough to get to 200, right? Otherwise, you still have the shop tokens, and they'll stay in your inventory until next time. I'm fairly sure, at least. I find it very unlikely that they'll be deleted or anything. But typically, you always keep these shop tokens unused. But I think for certain tickets, you can convert them into like the normal shop tokens, which you probably won't want to do. Worst case scenario, you'll just save them till the next time it comes back. Hopefully they could bring this back a bit more often. Like I think every 3 months would be a bit more reasonable, but who knows? I would say at the very least we'll probably see it again at the end of the year for Christmas, right? At the very worst case scenario. Yes, and then on this banner, I would say the only things that you are a must pull if you don't have them are actually the SR units. Which are the Her Majesty and Dorothy. So if you don't have a copy of either of these, then you should pull until you get one. Then just see whoever else you get along the way. But those two are the most important, especially for newer players who maybe have missed out on this banner, or maybe you didn't know about it when you started. Make sure you get a copy of these. You only need one copy, and then just use purple books to skill them up. The other ones, they're not that particularly good, like Christina and Lilabs, so don't worry about them. Just worry about these two. Alright, so those are the new banners and the most of the new units. There's one more new unit, which is in the side story here. So this is the new side story. You got your, it's very standard. You got your chapters. You got chapter 1 and chapter 2 that are available right now. Chapter 3 and 4 will be available most likely next week, if it follows the same pattern as the typical side stories. And then you got the boss battles here. And this is the stages that you're going to sweep for your currency. For the shop, right, and also for your dailies. So the dailies are in the reality anchor here. So you have to log in, clear trial 5 times, clear event shop 5 times, or buy 5 items, right? So you want to complete that every day. And then in the achievement section, you will be able to get the Althea base copy after completing 1-9. And then there's some extra skill ups here from completing various achievements here. So some of these won't be available until part 2 unlocks, because they are locked behind the harder difficulty boss, and also 3-1, right? Some are there. And then on the far left, this is the shop, right? And you want to buy the Althea skill ups here, and pretty much you try to buy everything out, but you can like skip the like cores, like the lower level cores, or I would say just make sure you just prioritize these last, like prioritize everything else. Obviously, like whatever's most important to you. Obviously, the golden books are going to be super important. Tickets are great. Pretty much everything else is good. Perfect clause is another really good one. So just try to clear out everything else in the shop. You got 3 weeks to do this, and there's no double resource. Like it just ended, so I guess you will mostly use your stamina on clearing out the shop anyway, for at least for this week, because maybe there'll be stuff coming out next week that you might need to use stamina on. So just may as well get as much done as you can this week while nothing else is going on. So that is Althea and the side story. I don't know what Althea does yet. I have to actually, I haven't cleared the story and stuff, but I will try to do that later. If it's worth talking about, I will mention it probably in next week's video. But also we have a event here for Precio's skin, right? So this is going to be a free skin that everyone will get after day 7, and they will get some like bonus crystals along the way. This is pretty good. I don't think we've ever gotten a free skin this way. Like these sort of 7-day login stuff, usually it's for like transcendent units. When they get released, you get the free copy there. So I hope they do this a bit more often with other units and give out some more free skins. That would be nice, but hopefully this is the start to more of that in the future. Pretty nice skin though. I'm actually pretty happy with that. I would like to use this skin on Precio for whenever we actually get a dodge boss for Crusade Raid, because that hasn't shown up for quite a long time. We've been getting a lot of resistance and armor bosses lately. But anyway, that covers everything for this week. So yeah, I'll leave it there. Thanks guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.